So tell me, if you don't post daily, don't have a packed schedule of meetings, or don't spend your nights hopping from one social event to another, are you okay? You must be feeling lonely, or depressed, or maybe broken? Because in a world that constantly celebrates noise, someone who chooses silence on purpose raises suspicion. But what if I told you that quiet people aren't just normal, they're dangerous? Not in a chaotic sense, not with drama, not with spectacle, not with dominance, but with focus, with self-control, with frightening levels of awareness and clarity that most people spend their entire lives running from. Let's talk about the hidden strength of introverts and why that strength silently intimidates the world around them. Welcome to the quiet way. At some point, society created this strange equation. Quiet equals shy. Shy equals weak. Weak equals impotent. Most people see them as imperfect, as people full of shyness and perhaps trauma. Well, that kind of thinking is completely wrong, which is convenient for extroverts. For extroverts, visibility often means validation. Make noise, take up space, speak fast, and the world assumes you know what you're doing. But let's make a few things clear. Introverts are not shy. They are selective. They are not weak. They are needed. And power, real power, doesn't need to be proven. Do you know who else was an introvert? Einstein, Rosa Parks, J.K. Rowling, Marcus Aurelius. The brightest minds in history didn't shout their ideas into the void. They refined them silently in solitude before the world even knew them. Because here's the truth. The emptier the mind, the louder it needs to speak. The more refined it becomes, the more power it finds in silence. Let's delve deeper into this. What makes introverts so powerful in modern life? They don't react. They analyze. While others are busy responding emotionally, tweeting, venting, reacting in real time, the introvert is observing, processing, cataloging patterns. When they respond, they mean it. And when they say less, their words carry more weight. The introvert's silence isn't passivity. It's filtering. They operate independently. In a world addicted to validation, the introvert builds without applause. They don't wait to be told what to do. They simply do. This makes them frightening to systems built on control. Systems that depend on constant feedback loops, dopamine spikes, and artificial motivation. They don't need the system. The system needs them. They can serve and then attack. Because introverts don't expend energy on every social obstacle, every war of opinions, every dramatic trend. Their mental batteries are full when it matters. When most of the world is exhausted from talking, debating, and presenting, the introvert opens their mouth and truly transforms the environment. Your solitude enhances your skills. Solitude, not emotional solitude. Let's be clear. Emotional solitude is a necessity. Solitude is a choice. A quiet person dedicates their free time to developing skills, reflecting on their thoughts, and improving routines, while the outside world wastes those hours simulating connection. A strong mind is not built amidst constant noise. It is possible to build it in stillness. Know yourself. A person without self-knowledge will never fulfill their mission with mastery. Self-knowledge precedes any important achievement. The most successful people in the world had a profound encounter with themselves before impacting the world. Being in an introverted state favors self-knowledge. Only silence can provide the level of awareness and depth necessary for self-knowledge. Contact with what is deepest within oneself is terrifying for noisy people. They simply cannot bear to know what hides behind so much ostentation and clowning around. They deliberately close the doors to evolution. The introvert treads this path with brutal resilience. He discovers his own pains and his own strengths, what discourages him and what encourages him. It is a difficult path, which initially may seem to weaken him. but in reality it is the forge that strengthens him. Thus, he crosses the entire valley of suffering knowing that he can overcome it. He possesses the map to the tools of his own soul, and thus achieves what he desires, not what others desire of him. So, why does all this threaten the world? Because someone who doesn't need the crowd cannot be controlled by it. Someone whose peace is inner will not seek artificial comfort. Someone who knows themselves cannot be easily convinced to buy an identity. Have you ever noticed how, sometimes, in a noisy environment, the loudest compete with each other and speak louder and louder in an attempt to be heard? But if there's a thinking mind in that environment, it usually remains silent, and when it decides to speak, everyone falls silent to listen. The words of those who speak little carry more weight. It is a consequence of their own elaboration. The words took longer to be processed, were tested more carefully, and had their lines of reasoning previously proven by a thinking mind. These aren't mere superficialities like those uttered by people who only want attention or to win a debate. Think about it. The introvert is immune to performance-based self-esteem. They don't need an audience to believe in their role. This is disruptive to noisy systems. This destabilizes false confidence. And this is incredibly rare in a culture where distraction passes for depth. Here's what most people misunderstand about power. It's not about how many followers you have. It's not about how loud you speak. It's not about how much space you occupy. True power lies in what you can create, in silence, in what you can master, alone, in what you can control, when no one is watching. The person who doesn't crumble when left alone with their own thoughts is the one who enters the world without needing anything from it. And that person, that's the dangerous one. That's the introvert. In a classroom, the loudest students stand out for their jokes, shouts, and self-promotion. They are always the center of attention, demonstrating what they feel and being transparent even to the least attentive observers. The boy considered shy, when he raises his hand to speak, causes a startle and a pause in the entire group. People stop to listen to him, and what he says carries weight. It's usually something no one had thought of, a point of view that ends a discussion, a solution that the loudest could never conceive. Therefore, the one who speaks 2 words for every 1,000 heard is often the one who decides the path the whole group will follow. Not because he is the loudest or the strongest, but because his state of introspection and analysis has made him the most intelligent. So, what do you do with this power? You don't flaunt it. You hone it, silently, with conviction, and above all, with consistent and deliberate action. Stop apologizing for your silence. Stop assuming your quiet nature is something to be overcome. It's not a flaw. It's a shield. The lens. A fire that burns slower, but burns everything. Today's challenge is simple, but intentional. Dedicate 30 minutes in silence to something purely yours. Write, read, program, sketch, meditate deeply. Fix something physical with your hands. Reflect on a complex problem without digital tools, without dopamine, without feedback, without likes. Just you, your mind, your work. Remember what you are made of without applause. See, introverted people choose what they will think about, and within what they think, they choose what they will talk about. They don't feel compelled to give their opinion on every subject. If the subject is not within their domain, they simply remain silent, without feeling the harmful obligation to have an opinion on everything. So, you don't need to be louder to be important. You don't need to perform to prove anything. You are not here to compete with the noise. You are here to bring clarity, to be stillness, because this is the quiet way. If this video sparks something in you, share it with someone who sees the world as you do. Like, subscribe, and keep walking silently, but with power. Until the next video.